What's going on, y'all, on Happy Thursday? I hope everybody out there is feeling fantastic. So let's go ahead and jump all over these topics. And I want to talk about the situation dealing with Simon Gubadia. He sat down with Page Six and he said that he definitely regrets marrying Porsha. Now, I can understand where that brother is coming from because on the outside looking in, it definitely looks like Porsha was just after that man's money. Now, in my estimation, Porsha is the finest housewife ever. She definitely could get a couple of babies out of me. I want to face down, tush up, bow-legged, straight up. But yeah, on a more serious note, Porsha did that man dirty. For real. She got some demons on the inside that she needs to deal with if I'm going to be all the way honest about things. But what I want to do right now is play the clip of Simon talking about that he regrets marrying Porsha. And then I'm going to follow that up with a clip of Porsha talking about her challenges when it comes to finding love. And then I'll be back.
You regret marrying her?
Absolutely. I said to her in one of my text messages to her, because she didn't respond because I kept asking her, why did you file for divorce? And she wouldn't say anything. I tried to reach her mom. Her mom would not respond either. I later figured out this felt like a coup. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with, I'm from, I say it because I'm from Nigeria and that we were ruled at one point by the military. And so every so often when you want to change leadership, the president, you stage a coup.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I was totally blindsided. I was no member of her family, whether on the mother's side or on the father's side, reached out to me. And the only person I actually reached out to was her mom, and she didn't respond. And so I essentially sent her a text message. I said this was a $5 million rehab project that I took on. She never shared her concerns or issues with me before filing for divorce. If you're married, I've been married quite a bit. I think I understand a little bit about the dynamics of. I should understand a little bit about the dynamics of a relationship. You discuss issues and say, "Hey, if this does not change or something does not happen, this is what might come of it."
Mm-hmm.
We never had those discussions, and I'm happy to share with you text messages where I was essentially blindsided by the divorce filing.
I was actually going to ask you if this was something that you saw coming, if conversations had been had prior. What do you think what do you think Porsha's reason was to file for divorce?
I think I was targeted.
In what way?
I was targeted from day one for financial reasons. When I filed for divorce from my previous, ex-wife, she was in my DM praying for me. And I think I was in a vulnerable position at that time, and I entertained it. And so it just kind of snowballed from there. Getting engaged in 30 days, I mean, who does that? I was out of my mind to have done that. And of course, I'm paying dearly for it.
Wow. That brings me to my next topic. There was some reports stating that the judge overseeing your divorce case has upheld the prenup that you guys signed before entering marriage. Are you able to share a little bit about what those terms are or look like?
That you receive $40,000 a month in alimony for the length of the marriage, which was 14 months.
Okay.
She gets to stay in the house, all expenses paid, including the mortgage, for 36 months, up to 36 months. And if she chooses to own the home, she would have to refinance the property in her name and take a 50% equity. She would have to give me 50% equity in the home.
It's lonely. I can't connect with other men. It's like people trying to introduce me, but it's just when it's not the same, it's not the same. So I'm going to do it different this time. I'm going to be alone until I'm whole. And then when I'm whole, then I will, open myself back up so I don't make the same mistake again. when you go through a bad enough breakup, you're like, I don't like nobody. Like, you're like, I don't like nobody. I was sitting there, I was like, do I like women enough? Can I get with a woman? Like, who can come in and fill this void? Like, oh my God, somebody. I have got to be able to sit with someone and feel a part of what I felt with him. But I don't yet. It'll come. It'll come. But I'm like, and I think that now that I'm realizing that because what I've decided is that I'm not going to look for it anymore. So I'm not going to like push myself into dating or anyone or trying to figure out, who do I like? Who could I be around? Because this is probably also part of healing. Me just sitting with this, sitting with being alone, sitting with the loss and let myself heal the loss. And I know I'm crying right now, but I feel good every day. Each day I get better. Each day I feel stronger. But I ain't gonna lie, it's hard. It's hard living lonely when you have to live lonely for a while.
All right, so you guys just saw and heard all of that. So let's just cut to the chase. Porsha is just mad fake. Let's just keep it all the way 100. And she's going to mess around and somebody's going to be out here with a needle poking some doll and she's going to be around here twisted and can't walk and pissing on herself. Because the way she did that, man, I can see Simon trying to get some revenge on her. Because honestly, Porsha is looking for nobody but Shamia's husband. So Shamia better watch out because they're not on good terms as far as I can see. So listen, Porsha sitting up there looking all fine and voluptuous like she is. My God, my God, my God. What man wouldn't be tempted? So, but at the end of the day, I wish Simon the best. I also wish Porsha the best. I hope that she can find some peace, but she's just a wicked individual and a lot of men are going to be looking at her with the side eye because she can't be trusted, especially if you got money, right? But anyway, let's move along because I briefly want to discuss what went down yesterday as it pertains to the Diddy trial. So yesterday morning, some information leaked that the prosecution team had dropped several charges as it pertains to Diddy and the RICO charges. But then later on, it came out that the prosecution team just wanted to dumb down the elements of the RICO charge, whatever the hell that means. But they're ultimately claiming that they just wanted to simplify things for the jury. So you want to help Diddy out. But check out these clips and I'll be back.
A stunning last-minute move in the Diddy case. Prosecutors just pulled back on several key allegations in their RICO case. The government says it's to streamline the case and simplify jury instructions. So here's what's out. Attempted kidnapping, including Diddy's former assistant Capricorn Clark's testimony that she was held against her will. Attempted arson, including Kid Cudi's bombshell testimony that his car was allegedly blown up by Diddy. And aiding and abetting sex trafficking. That doesn't mean anything having to do with sex trafficking under the RICO charge, just that element. Now they're focusing on what they believe will stick. Trafficking, forced labor, racketeering. But a move like that right before closing arguments means that they may feel like they didn't present those elements strong enough or it was too legally weak to risk confusion or an acquittal. And they're also asking the judge to give the jury a series of powerful legal clarifications so that they say the jury doesn't fall into common legal misunderstandings. The government proposed 7 clarifications altogether, including earlier consent doesn't mean you can't be trafficked. Being paid doesn't mean you can't be forced into labor. Cumulative conduct matters, meaning look for patterns instead of single events. Coercion doesn't require physical restraint. A person can be trafficked even though they didn't directly profit from it. A commercial sex act doesn't need to take place, meaning even if the act didn't occur, if the intent and coercion were there, that's enough. And lastly, reckless disregard. Meaning that Diddy didn't need to be aware of everything that was going on, just intentionally ignoring signs or intentionally turning a blind eye. Yesterday, the defense lasted in less than half an hour when they were supposed to take 2 days, meaning that they probably felt that they presented their case enough throughout the trial during cross-examination. Also chose not to have Diddy testify and not to call any witnesses. It also point to the defense being confident that the prosecutors didn't meet the burden of proof, didn't convince the jury that Diddy's guilty of these crimes. We will hear from both sides one last time over the next 2 days during closing arguments.
All right, so you guys just heard all of that. So they're just simplifying certain aspects of the charges. They didn't drop the charges or whatever the case may be. But as a juror, I would just be concerned by them doing that because it lets me know that they didn't feel confident in proving their case. And I've been saying this ever since this trial started. I just didn't see a lot of things sticking. Doesn't mean that he's not going to get any time, but there's just certain things that are not going to stick here. But honestly speaking, this is where I'm at with things as it pertains to if Diddy is going to go to jail or if he's not. Listen, if he goes to jail, I wouldn't be surprised, but if he gets out, I wouldn't be surprised either. you know, just keeping it all the way real. So hopefully today or tomorrow, the jury will start deliberating and we'll find out his fate. But let's move along because I want to take you guys to the pits of hell. So I don't know if you guys are privy to this story, but there's a pastor out of Nashville that's been exposed by the name of Bishop Fred Matthews II. Now he's being exposed by somebody in the adult film industry by the name of Jarrah Walker. I want you guys to check out this explosive clip and then I'll be back.
This is the day that the Lord hath made. If y'all gonna let anybody, if y'all just gonna let all the gay men preach to you, I might as well become a preacher today too, okay? Y'all wanna come at me? Let me find my remote. Let me tell y'all something. And for the ladies that's up under my comments, I don't give two how loyal of a church member you are to anyone. Y'all's pastor on multiple occasions has been by me. I never met this man ever outside of me the 3 times that I did. I never knew this man was a pastor. I never knew this man had children. I never knew this man had a wife. I didn't know any of these things until yesterday. And I've been this man for almost a year now. Okay? I find it to be very disgusting that a man can come and get by me and then go home and lay in the bed next to his wife as if nothing happened. I don't care how godlike it is or any of that. One thing you cannot do is knock me, because if it was your husband, if it was your wife, if it was your dad, you would want to know. And this man, when I watched, and somebody sent me a live yesterday, because y'all know I watch church services. I watched the church service for the first time ever that I watched Triumphant Church yesterday. Never even been there a day in my life. Never even knew this man. Never even knew this man's name till yesterday. And I went and watched it, and I immediately, the first thing that came to my mouth was, oh, that's the man I be. That's what I said out of my mouth. No shade. I can only be as real as I can be. I used to sit on this app and expose DL men back in the day. It's no way possible that y'all gonna even attempt to make it seem as if I'm on this app line. Girl, I don't have time of day. I'd rather sit on here and argue with that I go really argue with than to be sitting on here arguing about a pastor. Live in your truth, Bishop. You made a statement yesterday while you were preaching that just pissed me off. My pastor and them just called my phone to tell me and ask me questions about you. And they asked me, why did you do that? First and foremost, this man got a wife that he goes home to. Just say if I was sick with HIV, no shade. Say if I was sick with HIV and I'm whole raw, and then he go home and his wife and now she got HIV. He got everybody just unsafe because her husband decided that he wanted to have a double life. Her husband decided he wanted to wake up on Sunday mornings and go preach to the people and tell y'all in the sermon, this is what the man said yesterday, I wouldn't want nobody to lay their hands on me that's doing this, that, and this. But everything that you did, that you mentioned, just so happened you do that. You do all of that. I have a pastor that try to get you saved but want to lay with you at the same exact time.
All right, so you guys just saw and heard all of that. Now listen, it's super messy. And at the end of the day, oh my God, listen, I understand where he's coming from, right? But he could have went to the wife behind the scenes or whatever the case may be. But ultimately, I have to say I do respect where he's coming from, because he's thinking from the aspect like, yo, I could be sick with something, could have gave you something and you could have took it back home to your wife or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's just still super messy. But the one thing I respect about this young man is the fact that he didn't try to go to the pastor and extort him and, you know, be like, yo, you know, we've been doing this or whatever. I didn't know you was a pastor until the other day. So in order to keep me quiet, you're going to have to give me X amount of dollars. He didn't do that. But yeah, it's just still cringe. But I understand where he's coming from. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go right here. I want you guys to drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about everything I discussed today. So don't forget to like, comment, share it. And if you're new here, consider subbing to the channel. I'll get with you guys later. Peace.